Welcome, students, as we prepare for another episode of DC Graduates. I'm one of your teachers, your doctor recommended dose of nerdiness, aka your nerd of day, Carlos Rodriguez. And as always, I'm joined by my teacher in crime, Sly. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to be here with you. We've done the show together for a long time, like a year and a half now, and we're having a great time. But before the show, there was another show that was near and dear to my heart, our spiritual successor, which I also did for many a year with the wonderful, the delightful, the amazing Mario. And I'm so excited to have you back. I feel like you haven't been on the show since season 1. And I'm just so happy you're here.
Yeah, what season was it?
Actually, we did a bonus episode earlier this year.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, with Superman.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that was also great. Yeah. You're around. Yeah, but not every week like we used to.
No, that's true. That is also true. As we get closer to, hey, there are reasons we can come back, but I'm like, there's too many projects.
Yeah, a little bit. Just
we
a
already
little
have
bit.
so many projects.
It's very true. It's very true. But yeah, it's great to have you, Mario, on this episode, returning for your third time here. Because today we are talking about a little film called All-Star Superman from 2010. Yeah. We'll go around the horn here because I believe, Sly, this is your first time watching the film, right? I think it's like my fifth time. Mario, how many times have you watched this?
I actually have not watched this one nearly enough as I thought I would. This is only in my second time. So this is the second time that I've watched this film. I've read the book multiple times, but the actual, there's the one. But it's only the second time I actually getting to experience the film. So it was a good refresher before, because I know the story very well. And so to watch this version of it, I have some thoughts. So I'm very excited to talk about it.
Yeah, same. All right, so this movie was directed by Sam Liu, who did a lot of heavy lifting in our previous seasons of directing us, especially around this time when this came out. This is written by the GOAT himself, Dwayne McDuffie, who created characters like Static Shock, the Milestone universe, and is just wrote Justice League Unlimited, so many amazing comic books as well. Not only Milestone, but just a decent.
Maybe one or two movies previously.
We had Justice League Doom was also written by him. He's just an amazing writer. The comic world is less without him in it, you know?
Yeah, very much so.
So the studio, as always, is WB Animations. This one stars James Denton, Christina Hendricks, Anthony LaPaglia, if you're a fan of Empire Records like I am, Ed Asner, Steve Bloom, Linda Cardellini, Alexis Denisoff, John DiMaggio, who just great, man. Robin Ackendowns, Matthew Gray Gubler, and Arnold Vosloo. This is streaming on, surprisingly enough, not HBO Max, which we get to say perfectly here. Fuck David Zaslav. But it is on YouTube for free. And if you have a friend named Mario.
Yeah. What's that?
If you have a Plex server that just so happens to be on there.
Yeah, that is one.
Yeah.
It's not stealing. He owns the movie. Okay?
Exactly.
We're just friends. It works.
You're just borrowing digitally.
Exactly.
I didn't borrow it from a video store.
No, not at all. What are we, pirates?
Absolutely not.
Oh, God.
No. Us on this show?
Never.
Absolutely not. Never in my life.
All right, Mario, since you are a returning guest, you get to hit us with the plot recap and comic book characters.
All right. Yes. Here is the plot recap. While saving the crew of the first man mission to the sun, Superman is poisoned by solar radiation, dying. He decides to fulfill his lifelong dreams while still saving the Earth from various threats. But when Lex Luthor reveals his latest plot to control the world, Superman must use his remaining strength to stop him. Of course. Of course, this is featuring Superman, who's the title of the thing. Titular character. Lois Lane, Lex Luthor, Ma Kent, Perry White, Jimmy Olsen, Ron Troop, Cat Grant, Steve Lombardi, Atlas, This one's a little hard. Nostalgia?
Nostalgia or something like that. I think he said.
Nostalgia?
No.
Is that how he says it? His
Mhm.
niece.
Mhm.
And then Dr. Leo Quantum, Samson, Solaris, Parasite. I almost thought you said Lilo and Stitch there. And then
So
Bar-
Me too.
Dude,
Me
I
too.
did. I had to look in this to make sure that was her name. I had to like
Yeah.
look. I was like, is that her name? There's no way.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
And then Bar L.
Mhm.
Yeah, we have this is interesting. So some characters, if you don't know from DC canon, it's because literally they're only in this one. Like Nathasia or whatever her name is only in this book. This amazing book written by Grant Morrison and art by Frank Cordley. Of course, we're not sponsored by them, but I just love anytime I get to talk about these. DC Compact, $10. Find your bookstore, comic book store. Support your local comic book store though, or support your library. They're probably there too as well. They'd be big fans of that.
Yeah.
That book alone used to be expensive because it also was broken up into 2 hardcovers at one point before they made it one book. So $10 is a steal.
Yeah, all these are
absolutely.
amazing.
All the compact comics are incredible deals, and they're not the original format exactly, but
yeah, the paper material is not the greatest, but
yeah,
who cares?
making it more accessible. And again, like if you have a library card, if your library is most Hoopla libraries have at least a little bit of a comic collection on there. Like you can read so many things on your library. Or go in person if you have a close accessible library. We love that too. But yeah, definitely easy ways to consume this.
Yeah, not everybody has to read the absolute version of these stories of these giant, massive books. You know, a little small book that gets the story done is perfectly fine.
Yeah, exactly. So, moving on, we are going to our Andrea Romano roundup as we shout out our voice director queen herself, Andrea Romano, in this segment. We have some interesting sections here. I think we should start with what we had a previous guest host, Logan Crowley, mentioned when we say we were going to do this show. And he said Truth, Justice, and Xanax. How do we feel about the performances in this movie? Other than Ed Asner.
Ed Asner, fantastic. Did a great job.
Yeah.
Do you want me to go? Because I have
please.
some, like I said,
Yeah.
Okay. So, All-Star Superman, and I'll preface this again, is definitely one of my favorite stories in comics ever. Like you said, written by Grant Morrison, who is well versed into the psychology of this character, has written many stories since and before this. Frank Quiley, his art is so meticulous and so like you take like the smallest pen and you just see the little line and it makes the perfect sense. Like he just somehow does all these like very meticulous lines and it just makes a perfect image. This book, like I said, landmark title for the character. Obviously, Grant Morrison and Frank Quiley definitely inspired the current Superman movie. And so when a couple of years ago, when they were announcing this project that they were going to do an animation, I immediately knew that I had to set my expectations a certain way because there was no way that this was going to immediately capture everything that I love about this story. There are things about the story I really, really, really wish that they did capture, and we'll get there. But in terms of the presentation that they tell us, it's very much a condensed, almost slipshot like version of that story. And there are moments where I feel like logically it jumps places, and Grant Morrison, you know, he can do that too. He can do some swerves. I do think that the direction that they go in this movie and how they want to tell the stories and tell the different acts that Superman does throughout, you know, this small period of time, I wish just was a lot more fleshed out. And I do wish that, as you pointed out, I wish the performances also showed that. Particularly the 2 main leads of this, which I mean, I'll take actually technically 3 leads. The 3 leads being the same as the movie, which is Superman, Lois Lane, who's also a massive part of this movie. And then you have your Lex Luthor, who I think actually does the best in terms of what everyone does. Everybody else, for the most part, is very much like they're reading their lines, and there's no emoting that this is the end of Superman's life, right? It feels very much we're reading on the page as opposed to emoting what the page means.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about this story. So when we first were starting this project and you asked me like which ones I wanted to jump on, I wanted to jump on this one because, like I said, it's my favorite story. But I also did want to bring up of like there's some things I really wish that could have been elevated, especially with the amazing medium that is animation. It does suck that very much they have their style format, right? And they stuck it to this story, which I wish just did not have that. Like there's stories that that done like I think they could have gone further, but I still like what they did. Like with New Frontier is an example of just like there is a design that you need to capture, and I do think that movie does well with what it does. This I was hoping it would go out otherworldly and stuff like that, which they do some stuff. But ultimately, it's very a pedestrian version, I would say, of what All-Star Superman is about. And that's where I'll start, and then I'll open up for everybody else because I would love to hear what you guys think.
Yeah,
that's your best.
I can go next.
Yeah.
I have not read this book. I have no affinity, knowledge, loyalty to this book at all. I went into this with pretty high expectations because I do know two people who are huge fans of this book. Yeah. And I was like, wow, this must be incredible. And then I watched it and I went, oh no, I did not like this movie. And I was like, I really hope the conversation on the episode will change that. I was like, I'm really hoping that I'm missing something. And you two are going to come in here and be like, this was amazing. And here's why. And I would be like, great, I'm ready. Tell me about it. And then from the, brief conversations we've had off air about this, I went, oh, okay. Maybe this is a great idea, great concept, great story, which I can see. The bones of this were amazing. And I don't know if it was, how they wove the storylines together. I think a huge part of it is the performance, like we're talking about. I'm so sorry to that man, but Matthew Gray Glubler has one voice. And he is just himself in every single role. And I love Jimmy, but it did not fit. And every time he opened his mouth, I was like, that's Matthew Gray Glubler. And there's nothing else.
If you knew what that character was like in the comic book.
Yeah, specifically.
I love Jimmy. Yeah. And so, overall, it was a bit of a letdown. Like you said, Ed Asner, incredible. Great. Yeah. No. But it really was Truth, Justice, and Xanax. It was flat. It was uninspired, the performance of it all. And it didn't match the tone of what the story felt like it was trying to be. And again, sorry to our girl, but like this felt like it was supposed to be this grand sweeping epic. It's trials. It's it really follows a Greek structure almost to the T, but we're not getting any of the enthusiasm that comes along with telling that kind of story from the performance. Also, Greek scholars, don't come at me. I am not a Greek scholar. I am very loosely versed in Greek.
Well, I'm happy you bring that up because I think you nail it in terms of what the story is trying to achieve or what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be this epic grand Odyssey tale of his last Odyssey tale, and it even includes Atlas and Samson.
Yeah.
So like, yes, you're nailing that.
Yeah, I mean, even the back of the book, right? It says right here, the 12 labors of Superman. Like they make a note of it. I agree, and it wasn't until this final viewing. I think my rose-colored glasses came off with this final viewing of it, where I was like, I love the story so much, and I've talked to other people online, and I'm not trying to pat myself on the back or oh, hey, check out the other
Mhm,
video. But like, I've talked to other prominent Superman fans, and when we talk about this is one where like a lot of people are like, I don't like when Superman's too powerful. Yeah, he's too powerful, and this is very
mhm,
Silver Agey in that sense. But
mhm,
the heart of Superman's here, and you get to see and delve
mhm,
into it. And this is one of those stories that I don't think translated too well to animation. I think you get a little bit of Courtney's look, like his like kind of angular faces and stuff. And I didn't make a note of that with my initial notes, but it by the end of it, and I didn't even put a note of this. I was just thinking about it just now. It kind of felt like a prettier version of Aeon Flux, if you ever watch his cartoons, right? Like that's kind of what it felt like not, and it should have been maybe more Aeon Flux, you know. That's what it should have
Yes,
been.
absolutely.
Because there's like some rough around the edges stuff with Aeon Flux that in that animation that works really well with that, and I think it would have
I mean,
really,
yeah, that matches like Frank Quality's style, like directly almost. Like I said, like
yeah,
it's scratchy, but it's like thin lines and like
yeah,
there's like wrinkles to people's faces and like a great example actually is in this movie where I think it's the first couple shots where it's literally just the panels
yeah,
from the story, which is the mom and Pa
mhm,
Kent looking at, Kal-El on the ground, and that's
mhm,
straight from the comic. Not only is it straight from the comic, it's also on the back of a book that I bought. I don't think I own the book anymore, but it was basically the story of comics through Grant Morrison's eyes.
yeah.
And on the back has that
Ooh,
that
The right
image.
hand,
And yeah, so yeah, that last shot right there, that's
yeah.
one of
It's
my
kind of hard to
favorites.
see, but yeah, you can see it right there,
Yeah,
man.
I know exactly. Yeah. So
Yeah,
like that to me is like imprinted in my mind because it's always been on the back of that hardcover that I used to own. Um
mhm,
Also he does a lot of drugs in that book, which is funny. So he talks about comic books and
yeah.
drugs. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Um
When we talk about performances, though, one of the things I did want to mention because we were, talking about like Anthony LaPaglia does a pretty good job. He doesn't.
yeah.
His Lex is supposed to be like that, so like
mhm,
cold, like calm, kind of. We see it in Nicholas Holt's version of Lex until he really pops off at the end. And Anthony LaPaglia, again, shout out Empire Records. I just anytime I get to talk about that movie, I love it. I don't even remember what TV show he was on after that. I just love Empire Records.
I remember him from So I Married an Axe Murderer. He's the best friend.
Yes. Oh my god, I forgot he
Yeah.
was in that. I just love Empire Records so much. I always forget.
Yeah, no, Empire Records is
Uh
great.
but yeah, I think he does a pretty good job. Yeah, in hindsight, I think when you think about it. The other one, he doesn't get much screen time because he's a minor character in the story, but Bar-El's actor, Arnold Vosloo, is great. And if you know who he is amazing. But if
If you're
not,
bisexual, you know who he
oh,
is.
100%. Yeah, 100%. If you're
yeah,
queer in any sense of the word, which again, my motto, everyone's a little bit gay, whether you like to
mhm,
admit it or not.
mhm.
The Mummy. He is the Mummy
I also
from
want
The
to
Mummy.
shout out Kevin Michael Richardson, who was Kilowog in one of our previous things.
Yeah, just
Oh,
in general.
not our previous thing, just in general.
Just in general.
It was Young Justice. Yeah, cool.
But
Like,
yeah,
I know that name. Why do I know that name?
yeah,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Like there's so much talent actually in this, and I like again, I think even Dwayne McDuffie, I think, did a decent job capturing,
yeah,
I think, a lot of the moments. I just wish that there's like different parts of this that needed to come together and it just doesn't.
Mhm,
Either it's the art sometimes, either it's the
mhm,
flat performances, either or it's the story and certain aspects that I wish they, went a little
mhm,
deeper on. For instance, as to like where did Superman go for a month?
mhm.
There's some yeah. I looked at Carlos. I'm like, we know.
man.
We know what
I
happened.
know. Where did he go for a
Oh,
month?
one of your favorite characters, Sly, in Superman lore.
Oh,
Starts with a B, ends in Bizarro.
oh,
Bizarro. He went to Bizarro
hell
World, and
yeah.
it's
Which is, I think spoilers for our Superman in review, which by the way, go listen to that as
yes,
well. I
Uh-huh,
did speculate that a character in that movie goes into a black hole,
yeah.
possibly
uh-huh,
shoots off to his
uh-huh.
own planet.
Listen,
Mhm.
So basically, I mean, do you want to explain what happened? So hold on.
go ahead.
The thing that before we get to there, the thing that I wish
Uh-huh.
that they really illustrated was the 12 acts or the 12
Yeah.
triumphs of what Superman does for his last days. And I don't think the movie even says the number or the amount of acts. They just sort of
No,
blaze through it. You don't
absolutely
even
not.
know.
The whole Heracles 12 Trials thing was brand new information when Carlos held up the back of that cover.
Yeah,
Straight
they
up.
mentioned
And
it
it's
Uh-huh.
just
once.
like
I think Atlas mentions it
Yeah.
or Samson.
He
He's like,
said something
Yeah,
about the trials of Superman or whatever. Yeah.
that was it.
yeah, because there are time travels in this story, and they've seen what the future brings. But ultimately, I'm just
Mhm.
like, they don't do enough to illustrate that he's doing acts. Like, why is he?
Mhm.
You think half the movie one of the acts him talking to Lois Lane for her birthday? Like, what's
Yeah.
going on here? So like, I don't think they do a great job. One of them, one of the acts is, I believe, and I don't remember how he gets there, but he essentially gets to Bizarro's planet. And
Mhm.
do you want to pick up from there, Carlos? Because that part is still a little scratchy, but I know I remember that issue so fondly because it's very much a humanization of Bizarro
Yeah, he
as
kind of
well.
he kind of like helps him out. Like it's really interesting. There's like a good little storyline there. He gets imprisoned for a while. He goes there. He kind of, it's funny. He like makes friends. Like he kind of makes him more human. Like, you know, in a lot of good
Mhm.
Bizarro stories, I know he's used as a villain, obviously, but like a lot of good Bizarro
Mhm.
stories show him as like this oddly sympathetic figure. You know, and this is
Yeah,
one that like
Once
really
again,
shows.
shout out to the webtoon Red Hood Outlaws story,
Oh yes,
which
yes.
features Bizarro very prominently, and he's great in that.
Yeah, no, it's great. And I mean, again, like you're missing so much. Like the art is just insane
yeah.
Oh
Again,
for
the
that.
art, him
God,
just
good
talking to
Yeah.
lord.
Bizarro, and then if I'm not mistaken, there's Bizarro. Is there people, or am I conflating that with something else?
I know there's also like a Bizarro Justice League. There's like a Bizarro Flash that he interacts with. There's
Yeah, there's like
Bizarre
a whole thing.
Bippo, like there's a Bizarre
Yeah,
Super Monkey, like there's like everything like that is canonically Silver Age Superman in that world, and it's just
Mhm.
it it's
yeah.
it, it it's a really cool character study of that character, you know,
And if I'm not
and
mistaken, one of his acts is helping Bizarro,
yeah,
right?
yeah, he helps them out,
Yeah,
and they help him out in return. Like that's how he gets back.
yeah.
They
Mhm.
And that's what's really great. It's also like an ending of an arc of like a villain's feud with their bad guy, right, or their good guy, right?
yeah.
So like,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
it's the same here. Like, there are elements of the story that I'm happy that we get to. Like, as much as like I think that the Samson and Atlas stuff kind of comes out of nowhere. Well, in this movie, it comes out of nowhere. Even in the story, I always was like, out of all the DC pantheon, why are we focusing on these
These
two
two, yeah.
people, which feel
Mhm.
very new? And I think they're very much just new for this story, if I'm not mistaken. I
If not,
think
they're
they do
probably
have
like
some.
in probably Silver Age story. Like I
There's
think they've been
probably, yeah.
mentioned
That's
before,
where
but
they draw from. Because I was trying to look into the history. I'm like, I don't remember seeing you ever anywhere else. Um,
Yeah.
but ultimately, I'm like, I understand what they service, like bringing up the Hercules thing, and so like that connection, I do like. There is one also massive part of the story that I really wish was depicted, and we get a different version in this movie, if I'm not mistaken. With we go back to Smallville.
Mm.
yes, yeah, there
Mhm.
is
Yeah.
the death of Jonathan Kent happens
Mhm.
in
Yes.
this, and we see it.
That still to this day I think about
Yeah.
Yeah.
every day. And essentially, the story, if I'm not mistaken, again, it's been a couple years since I've read the story, but my vague memory is that a mysterious stranger talks to Jonathan Kent on a hill next to a tree, which
Hmm.
the movie actually shows the gravestone by the tree. Um,
Yeah.
and essentially, there's a tornado, I believe, happening in Smallville, and
Yeah.
Clark is dealing with it as a small child. And Paul Kent, I believe, is like knows about his kid, is worried about his kid and stuff like that, but he's dying. He's having his heart attack right by this tree, and this stranger who we don't know, he's wrapped up in like bandages,
Hmm.
comforts him and tells him
Mhm.
everything, if I'm not mistaken, about Superman and what he means to people
Yeah,
before Jonathan dies.
and it's shown as the
And
Superman squad, like these future
yes,
Supermen who are helping. You know, like the prime Superman that they're coming. We see one of them alluded to when we see the Superman of 1 billion or 1 million. Um,
yes,
Cal
Right.
Kent. We see him. He's actually in,
Mhm.
like, so that was like a little homage to the story. Like you see him actively helping like with this like villain and everything that's going on. And then yeah, it's this beautiful moment where I'm sorry, Mary, I didn't mean to take over, but like he
no, yeah,
the figured wrapped in bandages and all this stuff does as much as he could, just sets him up and talks to him and walks away and he unbandages himself and it's Clark. It's future Clark.
it's
Mhm.
fucking Clark,
So
Mhm.
and it's
he's telling
so
himself
fucking
like
sad.
how important, you know, this
Mhm.
moment was. He was there for him, like in his
Mhm.
time of need. Like he was the one taking care of himself, basically, like self healing. Like,
Mhm.
hey man, like everything's
Yeah.
gonna be okay. You're gonna mean so much to so many people, and like
Mhm.
the impact that Superman has. And that is a lot of Morrison just writing. How much he loves the character, how much he understands Superman at his core. Like, and there's something about Superman he just understands and gets that not many writers do. Mark Waid, we talked about before, is one of those writers as well. Birthright I have up there as well, the compact version, and we talked about him, in our DC Families episode a lot because he knows Superman. He knows his shit when it comes to Superman.
Yeah.
Not so much.
Why his name's in the Superman movie. It's one of the names that go by.
Yeah, Mark Waid. It's like Wade Avenue, right, or something. Like all the streets are named after like prominent writers and stuff like that.
What a cool detail.
It's a beautiful moment, and I think this is a good transition to one of the things I wanted to talk about. Because we're kind of here already, but like, what does it mean to tell a Superman story? And one of the things I wrote, the heart of Superman, what this movie gets right, and one critical thing it misses. And this is, I think, a perfect moment to talk about what it misses. And I swear to God, just opening up to look at the art and stuff, I opened up on the page, and it's this.
Oh my God! Yeah, that's where this comes from.
This is the single greatest Superman panel ever page. You can see it right here.
It's a great panel. I've seen that panel before.
Yeah, so this
I
girl,
can't even look at it.
I know this girl. She's on a ledge. She's about to, jump off. She's crying. Her mascara's running, and then out of nowhere, Superman comes in, and he says, "Your doctor really did get held up today, Regan. It's never as bad as it seems. You're much stronger than you look. Trust me." And hugs her. That's Superman. I think about that all the time. I think about that when I'm at my lowest. I think about that when I'm at my highest. I think about that panel. It's not him punching. It's not him flying. It's not him doing anything. It's that. That is Superman.
Yeah.
And that's where we got it.
When Man of Steel was happening, I was like, "This is not my Superman."
Yeah, Henry Cavill has the potential to do this. He has the potential to be that Superman, but I like some Zack Snyder stuff, but like that was not the move. And to get someone like James Gunn who understands and loves Superman, you could tell, and loves this story, and he understands what this story means to Superman. That David Cornsweet is this Superman. Like, he doesn't necessarily need the power scale, but he's this Superman.
Yeah. When I put this in, I said, what does it mean to tell a Superman story? Because I famously not a fan of Superman.
Yeah.
And then I saw Superman 2025. And I went, okay, I get it. I understand why people connect to this character. This is a great character. I see the heart. I see the beauty. And then, a couple months later, I watch this and I go, wow, this doesn't feel like it has the heart of a Superman story. And again, I've seen that panel. It's a great panel. It's one of the most iconic panels to a Superman character. I am familiar with the book as this is one of the best Superman stories. That's how people talk about it. And I watched this movie and I said, I don't see it. Like, where's the heart? Where is the Superman? Like, I feel like they tried to interpolate the story into a movie format, which is a tough ask in general. That is a very hard thing to do. And they kept what feels like most of the structure, but I don't feel like they kept the heart. And the core to any good interpretation, any good translation, is the heart of the story. It doesn't matter how precise you are. It doesn't matter how exact your word choices. What matters is, did you preserve the intent, the meaning, and the feeling that the people consuming it will get from experiencing the story? And while this was a solid movie, it was a fine movie structurally. It did not feel like a good interpretation of what is known to be such an impactful story.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you nail it. I was as you were talking, I was like, this movie lacks a perspective, a point of view. And I thinking about it, I'm like, I kind of wish the movie was just told through Lois Lane's eyes completely, because there's a scene in this movie which is in the comic book almost exactly, which is like she looks into a room and is not sure what's going on and starts to grow suspicious of Superman. And you know, there's that scene where she like, you know, shoots a robot and like does all stuff like all that. I think contextually, if the movie was always told through her perspective, I think would have been more impactful, because the movie begins and Superman saves people, and I'm like, I'm not thinking he's a bad guy whatsoever. You know, like that's not, and I think that if we were just hearing about these tales and stories, and it can be, you know, disjointed, it could just be Superman talking to Lois about like, yeah, I had to go to space and deal with this bizarro thing. Like, just like, even though like I had to go time travel and talk to my dad. Like, even if we don't get those things or even those little moments, I just really wish that it was that like she's telling these stories, she's writing about the 12 acts, right? And we do montages and stuff like that, but it's all through her perspective and what it feels to have superpowers for a day. Like that was such an interesting thing that I think that they pull off. And you know, I love that they kept true to the costume that they did in the comic book too, because it's a very weird, interesting design that I really like. It's not traditional Superman logo.
Great framing. That would have been so fascinating. I love an outsider POV, and while I wouldn't consider Lois an outsider in the story, I think she provides a really interesting perspective on what does it mean to truly understand who a hero is. Not the caricature, not the like personality that is put on, not the face that they wear while interacting with the public. What does it mean to know a superhero? And I feel like Lois is one of the very unique people who you could get away with doing a story entirely from her point of view, and her chronicling the trials and what it means to bear witness to these events. That would have been an excellent movie. Mario, you should make that.
You know, God willing, we get to remake it or in some capacity, you know, something. As far as I know, James Gunn, you're doing a great job. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
If we get to eventually Superman's in the sun, then hey, you know, who knows? But which, hey man, that's how you should fucking end your universe.
Dude, that'd be okay. That'd work.
Anyway, but that ain't happening for a while. But yeah, I think as a point of view character, Lois Lane just makes the most sense to tell this story. And I really wish that we've, you know, if we're going to find a way to tell All-Star Superman, he doesn't have to be the main character. Like he can be the secondary, but I also do like that. Yeah. That you have all these other side characters that are introduced and they get very little to do in this story. They're just sort of there. Not saying that's not a criticism of the other movie, but you know, still, it's nice that they're there. In terms of like Lex Luthor and his stuff like that, I do find his stuff interesting, but again, it's sort of there to fill in, to give Superman problems, and you know, I don't think it necessarily does the greatest. The other thing about the point of view thing is like you can have a moment where Lois Lane does something wrong with superpowers, and that's learning the responsibility that he has, that he takes every day.
What it means to hold back and to choose how to utilize your powers.
Yes, which is ultimately the storyline to Lex Luthor, which of course is once he sees what Superman sees, his whole perspective is different and changes, and
his whole psyche cracks.
It cracks, and then he sort of like he still doesn't love him, but he has a little more understanding enough to where he tries to rebuild the future with the world after he killed the greatest, you know, thing they had in the planet. You know, like it's insane.
Yeah, that turnaround that thematically would have worked around too as well. I wanted to touch upon before, like talking about the Lex part of it all. I think this is really indicative when you see what we're complaining about with this movie and what it misses and like some of the heart and stuff like that, because a lot of straight adaptations or trying to fit in an adaptation of a specific storyline to a universe, like we saw the DCAMU, or the Tomorrowverse with Hush and stuff like that, and Long Halloween, you see something is missing, and I think those are indicative. They knew something was wrong with this film, at least when it came out. Like that something is missing here, and we can't do this again. You know, if we're gonna adapt a specific storyline, or even if we have to fit it to a universe, we need to show it the proper time and stuff. And even then, like not 100% of the time, they don't get it. With the DCAMU, when we talked about the death and rebirth of Superman with our guests, like that was missing that middle part. We didn't get time away from Superman and see what the world was like with Superman. We didn't get like maybe even a mini, like 15 to 30 minutes like thing.
We love a DC short.
Yeah, DC short of just like what's the world without Superman, and then kick into the Return of Superman movie. Like we didn't get any of that. Something like it wasn't perfect, but we did get more time to breathe in these specific storylines. Again, with Hush, we got to breathe a little bit in Hush, even though stuff was changed. The Long Halloween is specifically 2 movies, that you get to live into this world in the Tomorrowverse with the specific storyline, with the specific cast. So, like, would this have worked at 2 movies? Maybe not, but would it have worked as like a longer, just tight 90? This is one of the rare movies that we can say, yeah.
Amazon's got the Batman show, like this to be just a small limited series. These are episodes that I can build. Like I would, as much as I do love, and I love animated DC, don't get me wrong, this podcast, #1 podcast for DC animation. There are times where there's some limitations, and we are fighting those limitations. And then now, what was the Crisis on Infinite Earths? That's like 5 movies or 4 movies.
3 movies.
3 movies, right?
Yeah.
They're long. Yeah, it's like 4.5, 5 hours of content.
Yeah, it's a huge story.
We covered it all in one episode.
Yeah, we did.
It's an undertaking, right?
Yeah, it's my fault.
Hey,
Okay, but no, it's true. Like it is an undertaking, and I think we needed more time to breathe in this world. This world is so unique, and it's such a amazing storyline, and it's a rare one too. Like it's a modern day death of Superman story that works really well, in the celebration of the character. Alan Moore famously had right before the Crisis on Infinite Earths, funny enough, whatever happened to the Man of Tomorrow, and it told a fictional story of like what would happen with Superman gone in the world, what happens in these 20 years, 30 years, or whatever. It's a beautiful storyline. When Alan Moore is not batshit crazy, he's still batshit crazy always, but like when he reins himself in, it's a really good telling of like the Silver Age Superman and what happens there. And this is like you can tell Grant is a student of Alan Moore's game, right? Like that's why if you like Alan Moore, Grant Morrison's a great person to also read, vice versa too. And this is like his version, and it really is a love letter to Superman. He gets more time to play around than Alan Moore does, and he told such a concise like love letter to everything that is Superman. And again, you go back to that one page, that one page means the most in this storyline, and it's not even represented in this film at all. Like you can cut away some stuff. There's a lot of Leo Quantum stuff in the book that's cut away. Him trying to find a way to help Superman. It's only told a dialogue.
Yeah, man, he has like 2 scenes in this. It's right at the beginning and then right at the end. That's it.
That's it. And he, we got like a prominent enough actor, voice work wise, or even genre wise, in Alexis Denisoff, if you know him from Wesley Wyndham Price of Buffy and Angel fame and other series. He's in not Avengers, Agents of Shield and stuff like that. Like he's a genre actor. It's a good casting, and he's wasted because he only has 2 lines. You have someone like like Christina Hendricks, who
yeah, man.
Yeah,
I have a huge crush on Christina Hendricks.
Yeah.
And same. You know what? I didn't feel it. I didn't feel it for this movie. I don't know why.
Her casting, you're like, oh yeah, she is very much a Lois Lane-esque casting choice, and then you don't get much from her. It's weird. It's very weird. It's just funny that this movie misses the point of what the book is trying to tell you. It's weird. It's weird. And again, for me to have watched it so many times, I don't know why this 5th view. I guess maybe because of the show, we've been looking at stuff critically.
Well, because it's the Cliff Notes version, right?
Yeah.
It's the you get to the result, and there's again, I'll say this: I don't think this
the book.
Yeah,
it's a Cliff Notes version of a book, and honestly, I don't hate this movie too, and I'm coming at it critically, like I feel like right from the jump, but like I think that ultimately it gets you a Superman story of Superman doing incredible things, which I think is what a lot of people think about for Superman. I do think that the story itself does have a lot more character and heart that they just don't have enough for the runtime. And so like for this to come out in an era where I wish that we had the Dark Knight 1 and 2, right? We had the Long Halloween 1 and 2. I wish it did had a little more time to breathe. Maybe it ends with him going off into space and that's the cliffhanger, and then him coming back to finding his people. Like that to me is also a huge story that you need to like and so like you need time to let that breathe, and for that to go as fast as it does. I just wish there was just a little bit more characterization.
Yeah. No, I agree. And when you have something like at the end, right? Like the end really nails it. It does. It does nail the ending, especially when you get to the Lex part of it and finding that realization that like how Clark sees the world is so beautifully worded, and that's part of our quiz. Not our quiz. I'm sorry, our drama class where we have that later on. That I picked that out because it's such a realization. It's one of those perfect things because Clark in different interpretations has always said that like you have so much potential, you have so much things you could do, Lex, but you always fight me because you think I impede humanity. And then like Lex has the Superman powers, it sees how Clark sees everything, and he's like, holy shit, this is how you see it. This is we're all, and like he has this beautiful
Cutie little
realization.
mortal.
Yeah. Yeah, and he has this beautiful realization we're all connected. And it's such a beautiful message. And it nails it. I will say in the movie, it does nail that part and what it means to be Superman and why he, Lois and James Gunn's 2025 Superman says, you see the beauty in everything. Like I'm just a punk rock kid from Bakersfield. You see the beauty in everything. Like, and he's like, yeah, he does. You can see it. He's so generally just optimistic and just loves. He's human. He sees it. Yeah,
Or
he
he's
does.
not himself. Yeah.
Exactly. And that does nail this. Like the portrayal for the most part does nail that, like how he sees the world, how he feels about the world. But it's just when you're rushing through the story so quickly, you just miss something's lost in translation, and it stinks.
I feel like, and I want to remember if this was like in the when I was reading the book, but I can't disassociate like the movie right now. But like he feels very alien in a lot of this movie. Especially when it's Lois Lane kind of having that, which like everyone's also taking psychedelics in this movie by accident.
Yeah.
People are sniffing things they
I
shouldn't
was
be
like,
sniffing.
what in the paranoia? Like Lois was skeptical to the nth
to the max.
degree.
Yeah. And so like it does feel a lot more alien, the fact that he has obviously this great power and everything comes easy to him, but like this is why I think that Superman
There's the one scene that literally felt like Alien with the thing like coming out of the chest. I was like, oh, we're just doing Alien here. Okay.
Yeah. And I remember the breakout also being the parasite, if I'm not mistaken. That was that whole I actually really like that whole scene. It is weird though that people are clearly dying and Superman can't stop. It's hard.
I wrote that. I was like, I don't remember that happening. He's just like he's doing so
people
good
are
at
clearly
like
dying.
protecting people.
Like,
And, like there's a couple of people that, like did Superman know something we don't know about those criminals? Like nah, they touch kids, man. They gotta die. Sorry, that's rules are rules, man. I'm sorry.
It's like ACAB.
Yeah, for real. That's true.
All right. So like I noticed that, but other than that, I'm just like what the live action movie does so well is it captures the human element, and I feel like that's lacking in this. Where I feel like if we got more of that, if we got more on the farm, if we got all like that's why I think that scene between him and Paul Ken in the book is so important because it connects, it grounds you back to that time, right? And the movie kind of speeds through it as much as it can. And again, Dwayne McDuffie had a huge task, right? He had to find a way to shrink this large book. Like I said, it was 2 hardcovers at one point. Now it's one all collected piece. But to shrink that into like 90 minutes, not even like it's impressive. It's just that I wish there just was a little more, a little more meat on the bone.
It's crazy too. Like we always talk about, you guys talked about an MC Universe and we talk about it here too. Like we love a tight 90, but like this
it is a crisp hour 16.
Not even a tight 90.
75-minute film.
This needed
Yeah.
at least to be a tight 90. We would have
It
been
needed
fine.
to at least be a 90. I would have given them 100 minutes personally.
Yeah,
And
hour
I think that
45.
would have greatly improved it. Yeah,
100%.
yeah. Kids can sit still for 100 minutes. Like that is doable. That
Yeah, especially
is possible.
this film is not necessarily directed toward them too, right? Like a lot of DC movies we talk about, like they're not really.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, like, kids are gonna would they connect to this in any
I'd be
way?
interested. You
Listen,
know what? I would love to watch
I
it
don't
around
know.
mine. I would love to see
Mhm,
what Connor would think of it, because like I think
mhm,
I wonder if he would dig it. He did see me watching. He's like, "Oh, what are you watching?" He's like, "Oh, is this Superman?" I was like, "He loves Superman. Superman 2025 is
mhm.
his favorite movie of all time." He said
Awesome.
that.
That
Yeah, I
that's
Great
I
cried.
love
taste.
hearing that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I cried hard.
Great
Yeah.
taste.
I'm not gonna lie.
I am
Uh-huh.
curious though, like especially with the end of this movie, if Superman dies, right? Like I'm curious how like that could translate and handle for people. Like I know that the book came out, usually it's read by somewhat adult oriented
Yeah,
people, and then the movie comes out and you assume it's also adult oriented
yeah,
people. So like, I mean, Superman theoretically has sex in this movie.
yeah.
I think that
I
happened
think so.
off screen.
Superman fucks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Superman fucks.
fun.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
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 I do love
Mhm,
Lois in this film being like, "Oh, did you take a peek?" And him
yeah.
being honestly like, "No, I did not peek." And she was like, "I would have." I was like, "Fucking right."
Mhm.
I want let me
Yeah,
see that
you
super
would
dick.
have.
Let me
Correct.
see that super dick. I want to see what that thing does. I need to see if that's human esque because before I put that anywhere near me, bro, I need to. I'm touching is one
Just
thing.
sprouting.
Yeah, yeah. If it's going in me, I need to know.
Speaking of,
Yeah.
can we talk about the colonizer of it all? Because I was
Yes.
honestly shocked. Most of the time when we're talking about Superman as a character and in his own media, we don't really talk about like what it means to be an alien, what it means to be on Earth. Like we talk about like what does it mean to be a Superman. We have the iconic Superman Unbound where we talk about like what does it mean to be a part of the Krypton diaspora and how that affects Kara and Clark's perspective on the world. But this movie straight up just like says the quiet part out loud when he's actively looking for a place for his home city to colonize, to exist,
Mhm.
to take over and ostensibly run a whole planet because he wants to give them a chance at existing. As he is the last Kryptonian and he is actively dying. It's a valid want. You want to see the people you are connected to grow and thrive. But it was really interesting for this movie to
Yeah.
take a hard look at exactly what it means to be colonizing a planet so that you may exist.
Yeah, I would say, especially since there's been two movie attempts of them telling a similar story and being kind of not that great. Like even as
Mhm.
much as I love 2015, or sorry, 2025, sorry. The revelation of Jor-El, them wanting to basically
Mhm.
do the Man of Steel plot.
Yeah. Mhm.
It's just unsensical and then it's not fleshed out. At least with this,
Yeah.
there is some sort of like, oh yeah, these people are trapped in this state of being and he just wants to find a place better for them, and he also doesn't want to affect other people as well, so he wants to see
Yeah.
what's the best result. So
Also, he mentions like they probably be fine with like finding a red sun plant, like somewhere
Mhm.
where they could put him near a red sun to live their lives. Like they don't have to be like me. And he promised them. He's like
Mhm.
it's something that means a lot to him. He's like
Yeah.
I've made them a promise. I need to uphold this.
Yeah.
It's a connection. His last connection to his planet. It's these people that he feels that he's failed, because of Brainiac and all that stuff. And then he's like, I need to make up for this, especially at the end.
Mhm.
It's sad to see. And then the flip side too, when you see Lilo and Barel, or not it's
Mhm.
Barel, right? Yeah, Barel, yeah. When he comes to Earth and they're like trying to take over, it's like, whoa, what are you doing?
Yeah.
There's good people that live here. Like I was
Right.
raised here. Like I was raised by people, and they
Yeah. And
see the error of their ways at the end, which is nice.
yeah, honestly, that whole plot line felt so out of place as somebody who hadn't read the comic. Like, the Kryptonian astronauts showing up, I was like, who are you? Why are you coming on so strong? You're trying to, rule the planet with an iron fist because you're so superior. Like, none of that really matched the tone of the rest of it. And I get, like, one of his trials being like making them see the error of their ways and granting them a new perspective on humanity and what humans can achieve, even if they're lesser beings in their eyes. But yeah, that to me it did not work in this movie, I don't think.
Yeah, it's a little harder when you don't have that Bizarro,
Hmm.
issue in
Yeah.
between, or that, chapter, whatever you want to call it. When you don't have that Bizarro chapter in between, it is a little weird where he just goes and then comes back and like, everything's different. Like, it's a little more shocking when you see him go. He fights tooth and nail on Bizarro World, and he changes everything
Mhm.
about that world. They help him out, send him back over on a rocket, which is, beautiful in its own sense. That Bizarro Superman uses his rocket to send Superman back, and it's like this kind of kismet, beautiful thing that happens between them. And he comes back and he's like,
Mhm.
"Oh shit, I'm finally back. Cool. Like I gotta wrap up things." Like, wait, what the hell's going on? Like it's a shock when you're reading it, especially if it was month to month and you're picking it up. You're like, "Wait, what the fuck?" You don't have the luxury of just turning to the
Yeah,
next page to find out what's going on. You're like, "Whoa, what is going
right.
on?" There's other people from Krypton here,
Yeah.
that aren't like Zod and Ursa. Like this, like, well, what this could be something interesting, or this could be something
Yeah.
bad.
Mhm.
It's funny. I made the same. I made the Atlas and Samson's like, why are they here? It could be anybody from the DC Pantheon. I actually do like that it's not Zod and them, because like
Mhm.
you can tell new stories with these characters, and the story that they tell, I think ultimately I do agree in the context of this movie doesn't work, but I do love the idea of like him coming back and him
Yeah.
seeing his people seemingly
Mhm.
in the fact that like, oh, there are people that will take over and continue what I leave
Yeah.
behind.
Continue my work, like continue this legacy that I have
Mhm.
crafted.
Yes.
And that disappointment, I think it's important, and I think it could have been a really interesting story. It just didn't. It wasn't tied in a way that convinced me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
No, I agree. I agree. Um, any specific notes you guys want to touch upon with the film itself, like Mara?
I feel like I have some great notes.
Yeah, go ahead, Sly. Hit us with yours, sir.
Yeah, go first.
Okay, first off, Frank, the man, the myth, the legend. Thank God for telling this. These movies were on YouTube. Saved my ass.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Um, at one point, I don't even remember the context anymore, but it was like they ... sing.
Nice.
Oh,
Oh, is it the
No clue.
no? Is it the plants or something like that? Something.
Oh,
Oh,
probably yeah. So
or the
then,
star? Maybe is the black hole or something.
oh, okay, yeah, probably something along that line.
It's something.
Great.
It's something in the Fortress of
Obviously, it made
Solitude.
a yeah, it made a great lasting impact. Um, oh, speaking of Lois, the
Hmm.
first kiss being on the moon,
yeah,
and we get a Princess Diaries foot pop
yeah.
with
Yeah.
the kiss. I was like,
Straight,
Yeah.
straight from the book.
incredible.
It's one
Yeah.
of the.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god,
And
most
One of
beautiful
the best
panels.
perfect.
panels. Yeah.
Yeah, when they nail the
Also,
visuals, they nail the visuals.
mhm,
Yes.
yeah. Lex Luthor, I get that he's the villain. And this is a word
Fuck
that,
him like that.
so good. So good. So good. Disabled people have started to reclaim this word, but Lex Luthor does not get to call people cripple. That is not for you, my dude. Most other people doesn't face me, but Lex fucking Luthor, I was like, no, you don't get that one. You don't get you don't get to say that. Uh, and then the like first like what 50 minutes of this film were like pretty standard for what we've seen from an animated movie, and then the last like 20 or so, the gruesome turn came
Oh
out
yeah,
of nowhere.
yeah.
And then okay, not only did we turn to the gruesome imagery at the end, and then they killed the baby, and I was devastated.
Yeah.
I was like, not the baby. I get that that's like a devastating like creature that would cause so much havoc, but also it's a baby.
I know. I
Anyways,
love
that
Superman's
emotionally
response.
devastated me.
Superman's response to it. I mean, that he's feeding him small sons, and like
Yeah.
it's quite adorable. And then yes, that it all ties together to obviously the ending fight, which is this fake sun, red sun thing. And then what are you gonna do? You gotta throw a sun eater at it. So like they've been building that up,
Yeah.
and then he just murders it. Like it's so Superman's devastated by it too, which I really appreciate. It again, I keep seeing parallels to like the fucking movie, but like there's a scene where Superman's crying in a jail cell, and it feels like this. Like he takes ownership over the death of others in a way, and then like him, it's important, and so I do like that is still there. Like those little things are congruent.
Yeah.
Even that line that you mentioned, like mercy, I
mhm.
don't think I have any left.
Yeah.
That
I
was
was like,
Because
who
that was
is
hardcore.
this? That was
Yeah.
when I was like, what does it mean to tell a Superman story? Because like, who is this man? That doesn't feel like Superman. And I don't super get how you got here. Like, I could see the bone of how somebody else got there in a previous telling of this, but here in this moment in this movie, I don't know how you got there. Genuinely, no clue.
And I think it would go well if the characterization of it was a little more human. That like, human emotion is you killed the thing that I was growing. I'm going to be very upset in this moment, right?
Yeah.
And I think they try, and I do agree with you. They're like, it doesn't feel earned. It just sort of happens when, especially when, you have this creature thing that is only in the movie for like 2 seconds, really. But yeah, like that whole thing, I do agree. And I do love the robots. We should talk about the robots. The robots,
Robots are great.
yeah,
No.
this is where they come from for the movie. This is basically where they come from for the most part.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah,
Love
even have the
that.
numbers too. Like they have the
they have
same
numbers.
design. So like, it doesn't
So
call any of
cool.
them Gary, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a little
We
special
love
touch.
Gary. We stand for Gary.
Yeah.
And then just one last thing. This movie, I feel like the story was trying to humanize Lex throughout it. And they did not succeed. That Lex was like pure evil the entire time. Not a single ounce of redemption. And they tried, but it was like that man, sure, he's like has a new perspective or whatever, but doesn't really change who he is at his core. No, not at all.
No.
And you know what? I kind of respect that. So many people try to like make Lex compelling and relatable, and I don't fuck with that. I kind of like that he just gets to be horrible the entire time.
Wait till we watch Smallville.
Oh Lord, yeah. No, in terms of like Lex's turn here, like ultimately, like I said, he's my favorite at the very least because there is that progression to when he get to his moment.
Yeah.
He's still a terrible fucking person, and then even then he understands he's going to care for the shit that he's done, right? Which I thought was baller. But then he still gives like, here's the blueprint of what possibly could be something in the future, which I very much I would love to see the story of that. There's times where I'm like, yes, tell more stories in this universe, and there's times where the story can end here. Maybe the story can end there, but I would like to see like what if that continued. But yeah. My main note that I want to talk about that I want to say, if I remember correctly, Jimmy Olsen is very minor in this story. He's not, I think, a big character in the comic, if I'm right, Carlos, but like his presence is more
he's felt throughout the whole thing.
He's throughout, and then the gender queerness of that character is also throughout that story. We only get it for like a second, and that is it in this movie. And I feel like
that for a story. Like what story?
Yeah, I like that we don't make a big deal about it. It just works.
Sure.
I would have liked to see more of it, but I feel like so many people feel like when they add a flavor of something like that, they have to address it. they have to say the quiet part
Yeah.
out loud. And I love that they just kind of let Jimmy exist. Like,
Yeah,
I feel
there's
like
a lot of sight gags with him throughout like All-Star Superman. Like they
Yeah.
kind of like it's more alluding to like his crazy history during the Silver Age. Like, he was a turtle
Yes.
boy and all this other shit. He was a kaiju at one
Yeah.
point, He's the one who
Yeah,
found
exactly.
Darkseid. Like, there's a lot of shit with Jimmy Olsen that is crazy. That his
I
life
think
is
for
weird.
him and also Quantum, who I believe their story is connected in the comic book, if I'm not mistaken, or
Yeah.
there's elements of it connected. That would have been characters I would have loved to have seen more if they had time to focus on them. Like, we get them for so little, we get that semi nod, but like I feel like once you point it out and then you never see that character again, that's just as worse as saying it at all.
Again, this is 75 minutes. You
I
could have
know.
had so many more minutes.
I know.
Why?
Where was Steve Lombardi? I didn't see him barely in this movie.
Yeah, it's like one
He was there
comment,
for,
like
like,
1 or
2
2
seconds.
comments. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Like
Oh.
it was rough. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean for me, I had a couple things I wanted to touch upon because I love one of the things that does not translate well into this anime film is with Frank Quartley's art, and when he was announced right leading up to the book being released like monthly, they had like a little at the end of some DC issues that had little character bios and like some of the design choices that they were making with this. And Frank Quartley has this beautiful thing of how he's inspired by the Christopher Reeve Superman movie, so he draws his Clark differently. So he hunches over. You see a little bit in the art. He hunches over and he kind of like does this thing where he looks like he has a belly, like a little bit of a belly to him, not like ripped completely. He talks different. His hair is different. His glasses, are different, and he how he moves about it. Lex has this amazing line it's in the book and it's in this. Is like you write like a poet, but you move like a landslide. Like, like how to differentiate, and so much so that Lex has this weird, like, fascination and respect for Clark Kent specifically. He hates Superman, but he's like, "Oh, Superman can never be someone like you, a normal person, and anything like that." He like loves Clark in a very strange way. He sees him,
Is obsessed with Clark.
yeah. Hey, God, if he only
He's
knew.
like, this
If
is
this
the
Lex only
ideal
found
man.
out that Lex is also that Clark is also Superman, his mind would have blown. But like there is how Frank draws him and like seeing the character sketches and how they do like this is the silhouette, this and that. It's so cool to see it, especially in the book. It does not translate well into the animated movie itself, but
Yeah.
it's cool. And you notice that you see a little bit with David Cornsway. He not that he's like hunched over or anything, but
I mean, Christopher Reeve illustrated it perfectly.
that is one of the greatest scenes in that movie. And we're talking about a movie about Superman where he flies and he fights Zod and all this other shit. That scene alone of him, Lois, I was wondering if I could talk to you for a minute, and then he like stands up and like his mannerisms and posture he turns into Superman right in front of our eyes, like
Lois.
yeah, Lois, I want to talk to you. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And you kind of see that a little bit. David does like a little thing in James Gunn thing where he, Miss Lane, he does that. He sits up and is all sexy. It's beautiful, man. But like,
I feel like she's sexy the entire time. But
you're
yeah,
fair.
he really
He's
puts
sexy
that
as
on,
Clark
yeah.
and Superman. Yeah,
Fucking fair.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of the things. Another thing that was a little animation thing they show for a little bit, and then it I don't know, the artists don't do it much in the books. And in this, you see his trunks are a little bit longer, like they go a little down his leg a little bit. It's only like 1 or 2 scenes they show it, and then it's like typical like underwear trunks that he wears over his suit. What do you guys think of the longer trunks, especially with this art?
I'm a big fan. I love the booty short look.
Yeah.
I particularly like how quietly draws it. I don't think I've seen other instances where I've like had a diversion to it or whatever. I just like the pants being there, man. I'm sorry, like Henry Cavill was flying around. I thought his dick was out the entire time. Like there was just nothing hiding it. It just
Yeah, the closest we
I
got
know
was like
it's something-
Rebirth,
yeah, and just like I just for some reason the identifier of the belt, and I love how even Cornsmith is brought up like it's like a hazmat suit. It's like he's trying to invite you in, and I think that's perfect for the character. So like even having longer trunks, I think is pretty spot on.
Yeah.
You know.
I know, I dig that. I wrote here, I was like, how happy do you think Mara was when Clark brought Lois to dinner? In fact, because she probably heard how many times it's like, oh my God, Clark's obsessed with this girl Lois. He like, but he won't ask her out. And all this from Arthur. You know, Arthur's coming home with like, oh my God, I went out with everybody. You can't believe like he's telling her everything, like all the gossip. You know that. One of the weirdest things, it's in the book too, but it's I was like, why the fuck is Metallo working out? There's no reason.
Why not? For funsies.
You mentioned, one of Superman's greatest villains. Superman, in the comics has always been referred to as like his villains are not the greatest. Other than there's Brainiac, Zod, and Metallo. That's really who you think about. And Bizarro, of course, and then Mr. Pixelic as well. But like those are your top 5, and then they kind of recycle over and over and over again. So you kind of gotta put in the hits. Of the fact that there isn't an imp in this one.
Yeah. Yeah, you missed that too. Like there's like little things that you miss that make Superman, especially when you're talking about or paying homage to the Silver Age of Superman. Like it's just some stuff is missing, and it feels strange. I did, what did I mention? Oh, here there's a so we obviously don't get the whole Jonathan Kent thing or anything like that, but there is this beautiful moment where he's talking to Ma Kent. They're having their final moment together, and Martha looks at him and she said, "Have you been eating? You look sickly." He's like, "No, Mom, I'm okay." I was like, that is such a specific thing, and people could be like, "Oh, it's like hokey, whatever," but like, no, like a parent knows. Like something's off with you. What's going on? You're not telling me something. Like, and she sees, no one else sees it. Lois doesn't see it. No one sees it with Clark. She sees it. She knows what her boy looks like, and he does not look right. If she only knows, if she only knew, like it's so sad in hindsight, knowing like she's not gonna find out like what happened to him till it's done, till it's already done.
Yeah.
It killed me when I heard that. I was like, yeah, that's something a mom would say. I like to say it's covered again in a drama class, but I was like, even for a split second, I was like, Lex still tries his bullshit against Superman, and he checks him. He's like, all right, fine. But yeah, those were like little notes that I wanted to shout out. I think we can move on.
Yeah,
move on here.
I'd say so. I think I've said my piece for all the grievances. And like I said, I don't hate this movie. I would love people to see it just because, like I said, it's a condensed version of this All-Star Superman. I would recommend you read the book because I think the book is far more 100%. Impactful. But yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. We could touch upon it a little bit, but we'll go with drama class, a holdover for MC University. One of my favorite things that we brought over here. We have a few scenes here. We got about 4 or 5. We can start from the top. We have Clark and Lois. I'll be Lois on this one. Who wants to be Clark?
Okay. Mario, you want to?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you do it.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. I need to put my glasses for Clark. There you go. Why? Thanks, Lois. I don't know where my self-esteem would be without you.
Alone in front of the TV. God, she's so brutal with him. Oh my God,
so brutal. I love it.
Yeah. All right, next we have Bar-El at the end, right before he gets thrown into the Phantom Zone for good reasons, not bad reasons. And Lilo, their lines with Superman. I'll be Superman in this one. Who wants to be Bar-El?
I'll be Bar-El.
Yeah, do Bar-El, Sly.
Okay. After everything we've done, you still show us kindness.
My Earth parents taught me forgiveness. Humanity has a lot to teach us.
Hello, son of Krypton. I'm proud to call you my kin. Our greatness lives on in you.
We don't have much time.
There's a way to save us both. Surely you've thought of it.
Yes, but it has to be your choice. I'll try to find a way to cure you.
But your own time is short. Do what you must. Send us to the Phantom Zone.
Ah, man. Arnold Vosloo, again, we talked about it at the top of the show, but like he is a standout in this. He doesn't have much here, but like, man, you get that guy work, he's gonna knock it out of the park every time.
Yeah. I mean, he
Listen,
spent. Look,
I don't know what it's like to be like the last of a people. Not my life experience. However, Phantom Zone, literal hell, purgatory for forever. Of the two, I would not have made that choice, but good on him for making that choice. You know, I think it takes a strength that I would never have.
Yeah.
God, you would hope there's like a TV or something in the Phantom Zone. Is there a beach? You know, there's something nice.
Just cold, frigid.
Cold. Jeez.
What's it? Scared of confined spaces. Claustrophobic. Yeah.
Claustrophobic.
Cold, dark, claustrophobic. Yeah. That's the Phantom Zone.
All three of us could just be in that that frame, just going like, ah.
All right. Next, we have the what I think is a shining moment and kind of great way to wrap up. I mean, we're not gonna wrap this segment, but like wrap up the story. What is All-Star Superman when Lex finds out, you know, how he sees everything. Who wants to be Nostalgia? Who wants to be Lex? Who wants to be Superman?
I'll be Lex Luthor. I want to try this one.
I was gonna say I want Mario to be Lex Luthor.
Yeah, I was gonna say I wanted that one too. All right, perfect. I can be Superman if you want.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah, that works.
Works. All right. Are you okay?
Better than okay. I can see the entire electromagnetic spectrum, and those must be atoms. Little clouds of possibility. Einstein couldn't connect the gravitational force to another three, but if he could see this, it's so obvious.
Uncle Lex?
The fundamental forces are yoked by consciousness. Everything is connected. Everyone. And this is how he sees things all the time, every day.
I don't know if I should be worried or mortified.
It's a cruel joke. The mechanism's clockwork of reality hinging on a precious... That's a lot of things to say. Hinging on a precious impossible defiance of entropy on life. The clockwork doesn't care. It's just like all just in here together. We're all that we got.
You are embarrassing me beyond therapy.
You'll have to forgive him, Nathalia. He just figured out how everything works.
Give it back. I saw everything. I saw how I could save the world. I could have made everyone see. If it wasn't for you, I could have saved the world.
If it had mattered to you, Luthor, you could have saved the world years ago.
You're right.
God.
Damn.
Finally gets it.
God damn.
Yeah. Lex Luthor is spitting in that scene. He is going hard.
Yeah. He is going hard. Those are bars. Incredible. We love to see it.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, we got Lois and Superman's last line in the film. I'll be Lois for this one.
You love Lois, and I love that for you.
I do. I love her.
All right, I'll be Superman.
Okay.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I like how I made this show just so I can watch you two act out scenes from a movie.
That's why. Yeah.
And at the end of this one, we kiss.
Okay. Yeah, we do.
I can't.
This is AO3 live action.
Exactly.
That's why Sai loves it. It's Pip AO3. Lord. We have our own subsection. So you got to get on that one. You got to start writing Pip fan fiction.
Okay. No.
These two
I know you
talk
humans.
about the DC universe. All right.
On that note.
Oh, your poor face.
No one can repair the sun but me, Lois. I'm turning into pure energy, and I only have one chance to save the world.
That's all you've ever needed.
I love you, Lois Lane. until the end of time. Fucking hell. That's nuts.
Yeah.
I'm so
Man.
normal about that.
Man,
Damn.
this rough. God damn, man.
Damn, man.
That's
Okay,
so
maybe
good.
this movie was better than I remembered.
We did it.
Read the book.
So good.
Read the book, yeah. My current
library.
TBR of comics exclusively has just grown exponentially. I have so
Yeah.
many things to read.
That's what happens when you do a 7-hour podcast
This
about
is
like all
100
this
years
shit.
of comic books. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we're almost at the 100-year anniversary of fucking DC Comics.
Mhm.
Dude. All right, finally
Incredible.
we have Jimmy Olsen and Lois Lane.
This is y'all. This is y'all. You got this one.
Jimmy.
You want to be Jimmy? I'll be
Okay.
Lois. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you sure you don't want to speak at the memorial service? Thousands of people are there paying their respect.
He's not dead. He's up there fixing the sun. And when he's done, he'll be back. And I'll be here waiting for him.
He's up there fixing the sun.
The sun.
So cool, man.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It's so goddamn cool. I like that they did the
Yeah.
image though at the end of the book. Like I did like that they showed that at the end.
Mhm.
Like him in the middle of the sun. We get like a close up of it, but like that image is great.
Damn.
It looks so cool.
That
And
is cool.
they didn't have to,
Mhm.
you know, they could have just left it ambiguous, but they show it. I think it kind of helped.
Mhm.
It has like the similar impact of an MCU TV show that happened not that long ago. I don't want to spoil which one, but if you know, you know. There's a lot of green in the show. But yeah, it has a very similar impact.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. All right, so we are rounding out. We're in homeroom. Our final thoughts on the film. Mario, as our guest for this episode, what are your final thoughts on All-Star Superman?
To sum it up for the end here, like I said, I have many issues with this film, mostly from an adaptation standpoint. I do wish it went a little harder into a point of view. I bring up, of course, that I think Lois Lane is a great character, and I think for this story could have been a great person to follow, and that to me is the way in. I do know that all these films tend to be more sort of, you know, have to be slavishly accurate to the source material, and that's totally fine, even if they don't put majority of the elements that I think that make the story great. As a, you know, we said what, an hour and 16 minutes palate cleanser of what I think All-Star Superman is. There are worse things, but I do think that there could have been a lot more for this one. Read the book. This is the one time where I'll say the book is better than the source material, 100%. But other than that, watch a movie. It's not that bad either. It's free on YouTube.
Yeah, true. Sly.
My final thoughts are: I need to read the book. That's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, I agree with Mario. My sentiments are the same here. Like this is okay adaptation. Yeah, this is like 5th time watching it. And this is the first time in a long time, I guess, because of my critical lens of it, that I'm like, oh, there's a lot missing here. And the main thing is the heart of it all. Without again that one page, the suicide page, or the attempted suicide page, and showing what, you know, the strength of Superman, that is not necessarily carrying big things or flying to the sun or fixing the sun, of how cool that is. It is this one moment with this one girl on top of a roof is the quintessential like page of Superman, you know, and it's the most impactful thing I've ever read in my life, I think, when it comes to Superman. Without that, this is missing something. It is missing a heart. Is this a bad movie? No, not technically. But I'm so critical of it because the source material is so good that it is missing something. And I think that's safe to say. If you found joy in this movie, if you've never read the book, please do yourself a favor and read the book. It is, again, this is we're not sponsored. I would love it, but you know, still fuck Davis asshole. This is $10. Again, this is $10. It's $9.99. I got this from
How
my
thick it is.
yeah, it's not that. Yeah. It's not that much. It's
Mhm.
great. I got it from a local comic book shop near my house in Delaware, and this is amazing, man. You can find this at Barnes and Nobles. You can find this on whatever bookstore you go to. Go to a thrift shop,
Bookshop.org if you want to
bookshop.org. Yeah,
support a
that's a good one.
local independent
Yeah,
bookstore.
if this version's not at your local library, there's a version of it at your local library. Check it out.
Mhm.
This is one of the quintessential Superman stories. This is one of the ones I talk about. I talked about it with Greg Miller. I talked about it with Mario.
Mhm.
You know, this
Mhm.
American Alien, Birthright, All Seasons. You know, like there's so
Yeah,
many
dude.
books, but like this is one of them, and this is special. And you could tell because if you liked any of this or and thought, wow, this kind of reminds me of James Gunn's Superman movie. That's because he used this as a
Mhm.
Bible. Like the first image when he was
Mhm.
like, "What's your Superman movie going to be like?" was this.
It literally was that
Mhm.
photo. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'll
that tells
I'll
you how
go
important
even
it is.
further, okay? Go to your local church or your local hotel or motel. There's always a Bible in there, a Gideon Bible, doesn't
Mhm.
matter. Take that to a reseller shop,
Mhm.
sell that Bible, all right?
Mhm.
You have enough funds
Because
right there.
Grant, yeah, get enough. You collect a bunch of Bibles. Grant Morrison and Frank
Mhm.
Wiley, they got you. That's the Bible.
This
Just
is
12
the
acts.
Bible right here. This is all you need.
Mhm.
This is the
There's
word of
Adam
the
and
Lord.
Eve. There's all types of stuff in there.
Yeah, this is the word of
Mhm.
the Lord himself right here, Grant
He's
Morrison.
in the sun.
Uh-huh.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
yeah, this is an okay adaptation. I came out the other way, but it's so much better when you read it. I think this is just
Mhm.
if you could somehow read it. If you got to the end of this
Mhm.
episode and then watch the movie, read the book
Mhm.
and then watch the movie and then form your own opinion. But you know,
Mhm. Mhm.
why
Yeah.
did you get this far? Why did you watch the movie? That's weird. Um,
Why
Listen,
haven't you left a
I'm
comment and hit
also the
subscribe?
person.
yeah,
Why are you not
Uh-huh.
following us on
Why?
Spotify,
exactly. Why not
iTunes?
5 stars?
Why not?
5
Mhm.
stars.
I will say I will
Spotify's
not shame
comments.
you. I am the person who listens to podcasts about movies I will never watch. However, this is probably one you want to watch.
Yeah.
I'm not judging you if you got this far. I'm on your team. Other people might judge us. That's fine. I'm not ashamed of that.
No.
Yeah. No.
No,
You
no.
also
Go
have a whole
experience the
backlog
story.
of episodes to watch. Go watch all those too. Watch all those
Exactly.
episodes.
Yeah. Mhm.
Like
If you like Marvel, there's a Marvel show there too.
yeah, there's a Marvel show.
Mhm.
There's
Yeah.
so much stuff we do here at Pointed Brackets.
Mhm. Mhm.
All right, so that's our
Including
final. What this? What next week? Our homework?
you.
Oh, me.
What? Yeah.
Oh yeah, we had to get to the spiel. Yeah, I was gonna tell our students what homework is next week, which it's gonna
Oh,
be different
okay.
what we
Yeah.
have written on here. Next week's homework is
Okay, I almost
watching.
referenced it, so I'm glad I didn't.
No.
Is it not Superman Red Sun?
Technically, it would be Watchmen,
It-
unless I edit
No,
Watchmen.
Watchmen's before this.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I hope you liked that episode. That was a good episode. That's what happens when you film stuff out of
Theoretically.
order. Yeah.
Time travel back in time.
Time
Exactly.
travel.
Yeah. Next week's episode and what you
Mhm.
should be watching is Superman Red Sun. Again, a straight up adaptation of a very seminal
Mhm.
Superman story. So it'd be interesting to see. I've seen this movie
I'm gonna
once.
have a really
so-
fun rant for that one.
Yeah, I bet.
Wow. Oh, I'm interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah, I remember liking it, but
Mhm.
again, it's been years, so I don't know. I haven't
Yeah.
seen it.
Same. Yeah, I think
Oh, it
I've
has
only read
nothing to do with the content of the story.
Okay, yeah, I was just wondering.
It's purely a pedantic thing.
Oh, fair. Oh, yeah, fair. Yeah. That's very fair.
You've seen my comments.
Yeah. Yeah, fair. All right,
Mhm.
but that is that. Now we're gonna go around the horn. Mario, where can people find you?
Ooh, I can't tell if this is coming out when something is out or not, but I can at least say this: I
I
am.
can do the math real quick.
If you
keep
could tell me
talking, I'll do the math.
yeah. If it's before FNAF 2 comes out. So basically, which I think will be this will be out way before that. I'm 75% through a video that I've created. I've been teasing on socials. Carlos has definitely picked up on little hints of shit I've been leaving out there on purpose.
It'll be
but
November 14th if everything works out. If
everything
you're
works
listening
out.
to this and it's not November 14th, something got fucked up. That's fine.
Something
It happens.
happened, the time continuum.
It's my anniversary.
Even
so yeah.
so, the place that you're gonna look for it is gonna be at youtube.com/only special features, because the first special feature
Hell
is
yeah.
coming. And I'll announce it here. I'll announce the additional stuff. This is exclusive to this place. Not only is there gonna be a video, there's gonna be 3 companion interviews that are also associated with the video that will come out afterwards.
Hell
This is a sort of tease show that, like, I'm trying to create a sort of like essay style content, but it will have supplements that will both be free, and then possibly in the future would like to do a Patreon, but I'm not pushing that just yet. I want to show everyone what we can do here on the channel that I'm creating. But yeah, that'll be at only special feature. You can follow me, here at youtube.com/only social features. I believe I have a TikTok, and I believe I already have a Blue Sky. No, I was gonna say Twitter. Fuck Twitter. Accounts, but otherwise, just stay tuned to places like this where maybe you'll see me again somewhere soon. Who knows?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I always come by and visit because I love this place.
Well, you created this place.
We love you. Yeah.
Well, I didn't want to, Superman can only do so much.
Yeah.
Sly, where can people find you?
You can find me here. That's about it. I work 2.5 jobs. I'm tired. I'm here.
Yeah. All right, for me, you can find me here, youtube.com/point in progress, where we have this amazing show, DC Graduates. Again, this is the spiritual successor of their show, MC University, so you can check that out here on the same page. And I always say, if you're watching this on youtube.com/point in progress, go over to your favorite podcast service of choice, like, share, subscribe. If you're listening to this podcast, go over to youtube.com/point in progress, like, share, subscribe.
Oh, I lied. I do have one other place people can find me, and that is if you want to see me exclusively fanning out over the iconic video game 1,000 Times Resist, you can follow me on Blue Sky. All I do is repost about how much I love 1,000 Times Resist. Shout out to the one and only Mario Rivera for making me play that game.
There's so much 1,000 Times Resist stuff, specifically with you on this page and just social media in general. It's perfect.
Whoops.
Yeah. You had to buy a record player because you bought the vinyl.
Sly's game of the year for 2025 is 1,000 Times Resist.
Just like it was
1,000 Times Resist. Also noted hidden gem. 1,000 Times Resist.
Yep, exactly.
I bought 6 records for that game. And I will be buying the plushie. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. That's dedication. That's dedication, people.
Obsession. But yeah.
Yeah. You guys can find that there. But for as well, after the whole podcast stuff, if you want to check out here, I have a Remedy Let's Play series called It's Not a Loop. Mario helps me out with that. And we have It's Not a Loop, It's a Spiral, which is Alan Wake Remastered and Alan Wake American Nightmare. We have Alan Wake, I'm sorry, not Alan Wake. We're getting there. Alan Wake 2 will be soon. We have It's Not a Loop, It's Quantum Break, which is our second season of the show where I play Quantum Break. And now we are currently filming It's Not a Loop, It's Control, which obviously going to be playing Control for the very first time. That's the whole point of the series. I've never played any Remedy game. Maybe like 10 minutes of Max Payne and I liked it, but that's down the line. Those games will be addressed later on. I've already talked about this on those previous shows. But yeah, Control should be coming out. Then we'll go into Alan Wake 2 and its DLC. And then I've teased this a bunch of times. Me and Frank have something on the horizon. Something evil, maybe in your residential areas. A playthrough series that you will see soon. Hopefully, maybe around the time when
breaking news,
a Requiem would be around. You know, who knows? Who knows if all those teases work out in perfect timing? Actually, by the time this comes out, I will have more time to dedicate. The computer will be freed up for me to do more stuff here. Tara would have done her schooling, which is going to be awesome. She deserves it. She's amazing. All right, but
hell yeah.
That is this episode. Thank you, Mario, for coming by. As always, we'd love to have you on here. And till next time, class is dismissed.
Bye.